Hello and welcome to this tutorial by Kinetic Media. My name is Jeff Batt. I'm the head trainer with Kinetic Media, and welcome to number 7 of jQuery Mobile and DreamWeaver Basics. Now in this one we're actually going to be talking about updating jQuery Mobile source files. Now one thing that I found when preparing for these sessions is sometimes when I was looking at the documentation of jQuery Mobile and then I was trying some stuff out inside of the code, is some of the stuff just wouldn't work. And the reason why is because DreamWeaver doesn't actually update its code as quickly as jQuery Mobile does as source files. So whenever you're creating a new project inside of DreamWeaver, you may not have the latest jQuery Mobile source files. And so in this tutorial, I just want to focus on how to update your jQuery Mobile inside of DreamWeaver, how to update to have the latest jQuery Mobile source files. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead, let me switch over to DreamWeaver here. You want to go ahead and start a new jQuery Mobile project. So I'm going to come into DreamWeaver, I'm going to click on the More button under the Create New, and I'm going to go down to Page from Sample and then go to Mobile Starters. Now under Mobile Starters, I'm going to click on jQuery Mobile and then with the local in the middle one and click on Create. Now it has links to my configuration here. All I need to do is save it, so I'm going to go ahead and save it somewhere on my desktop. And so I'm going to name this Sample Project and then go ahead and click on Create and then name this, as I have in the past, just name my my main file index.html file. Now it's going to copy all of these source files, and the nice thing about this though is you can actually update if you want to go into the configuration. If you want to follow this path, you could just update it so every time you create a project, you won't have to copy these files in. You'll just basically have to follow the path of Applications, DreamWeaver, and it may be different on Windows as well. So just keep that in mind if that's what you want to do, so you don't have to do this every single time. Then you can do that just by finding where those source files are on your computer. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and just click on Copy. It's going to update my links here. But again, you'll notice that these links aren't the most up-to-date links. For example, the jQuery Mobile is only 1.0. Well, if I go to jQuery Mobile's website and then just on the home page here, you'll notice that jQuery Mobile, it's actually 1.3 has been released. So if you try some of the stuff within the documentation on jQuery Mobile's website, it's not going to work, especially the new panels, the swiping in. There's a lot of neat stuff that have come out in 1.3, and this is why I want to show you how to update this info, or update the source files so you can take advantage of some of this. So I'm going to go ahead and once on the jQuery Mobile website, I'm going to click on this download button, and then I'm going to scroll down, and the easiest way that I've found is to just download the zip file, to come down to the zip file section and click on the zip file here, and it will download to your downloads area or your desktop, wherever you have your downloads saved. So these files right here, if I double click on this, you'll notice that I have a lot of different files to choose from here. I have my CSS files, my JavaScript files, and some minified CSS files and minified JavaScript files as well as a new images folder. And then inside of the folder here is a demos folder. Now the nice thing about the demos folder is it basically gives you all of the documentation for jQuery Mobile. Very useful, so you can open this up inside of DreamWeaver and you can find out how they did different things within the jQuery Mobile. If you want to see how they did the layouts, or you want to see how they did accordion views or something like that, they give you the source files to it. So it's a very useful resource. But if you don't want that, you can just go ahead and delete the demos folder, and this way you have the latest source. Now you need to actually take this source files and you need to copy it inside of your project. So I'm going to go into the sample project that I've created already, and I'm going to first of all delete the jQuery Mobile files. Now the jQuery Mobile files really only has jQuery Mobile 1.0 and for the CSS file, and then 1.0 for the JavaScript file. Well, you'll notice over here the jQuery Mobile has a lot more than just than just the regular jQuery. It also has a mobile structure as well as a mobile theme. So if you're taking advantage of the different themes available, you're going to want to copy these CSS files. Now these aren't necessary, the structure one and then the theme ones, you don't have to copy those over, but I just like to make sure I have all the source files within my project. So I'm going to come into my sample project and I'm going to go ahead and delete these files that I don't need anymore, the 1.0. Now you want to keep the jQuery one because this is not jQuery mobile, this is actual jQuery. So if you use like swipe events or did anything like that, you want to make sure you want to keep the jQuery one. And when we downloaded it here, it didn't actually download the jQuery files because you have to actually get that from jQuery.com and not jQueryMobile.com. But in this case, we're just going to leave it how it is because everything runs fine with that version. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy over some of these files. Now the files that I want to copy over are actually the ones that have MIN inside of it. So look for the extension, the .css or the .js, and then make sure that you copy the ones that have MIN. Now what that stands for is minified. Now minified will actually allow, it's harder to read if you open it up, the CSS files or the JavaScript files, but it makes your application load a lot faster, which on mobile devices is huge. So you want to make sure that you grab the minified version of all these different files that you're going to use. So I'm going to grab both the jQuery 1.3 minified CSS and the 1.3 minified JavaScript, and I'm going to just actually, you can either copy or you can just drag them over to your file here. Now we still have the jQuery mobile structure and the theme, so I'm going to grab these two CSS files, but I'm going to grab the minified versions of those. So here's one minified version, here's another minified version, so I'm just going to copy both of those and paste them inside of my project. Now the next thing I do is I have to go in to DreamWeaver and I have to update the path to these files instead of the old files. So I'm going to go into DreamWeaver, and first of all, we can leave our 1.6 jQuery reference alone. That's all we need to do there. But we need to point to the right jQuery mobile 1.3 minified. So I'm going to delete the source to that. And the shortcut to link to a JavaScript file when you're within the source tag is by hitting Control Space. When you hit Control Space, the option to browse will come up and you can just hit enter. And now you can go find the file that you want to link to instead of having to type it all out. But this is the jQuery Mobile 1.3 minified version. I'm going to go ahead and click Open. And now I've linked to the new jQuery Mobile JavaScript. Well, I need to do the same thing with the CSS files. So I'm going to come up to the CSS reference and I'm going to delete the path to the 1.0 CSS. And then go ahead and hit Control Space again, browse, and then find the CSS file for the 1.3 minified CSS. And I'm going to go ahead and click Open. Well, again, that's really all that I need to do in order to run most of it, but just in case, I'm going to also reference the other CSS files. Now, I find it quicker just to copy the one CSS reference and paste it twice because I'm going to be bringing in two different CSS files. I'm going to follow the same process, go ahead and delete the path to one of them, hit Control Space, browse, hit enter, and then go ahead and link to the theme one or the structure, it doesn't matter what order. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the last one, the structure one. Hit Control Space, hit enter to browse, or click on the browse button there, and then hit the structure button, hit open, and then hit save. Now I have the latest file. So now you have to follow that same process if jQuery Mobile 1.4 comes out or 1.3.1. Now you don't need every single step, but if there's a feature that you want, typically on the documentation inside of jQuery Mobile, if I go to Docs here, typically in the first panel, they'll have something that has a new icon there that lets you know that this is new. That if you want to use this feature like these panels, or the dual sliders or something like that, you're going to have to update the code. And I think it's best practice just to update the code anyways. And so come to jQueryMobile.com, keep up to date with what version it is, and then download that version to your projects. And when you have an old project, you just update the files and test it out, and make sure everything is working, make sure there's no broken items or anything like that. So you'll have to do some testing there. And the final thing that you want to do after you've updated your code, is to copy and paste the images folder. So I'm just going to copy and replace that. And that way it has the updated images, because if you don't do that, you may get some icons that are misaligned or something like that. If you already have placed your own images in here, you might not want to copy those. So you could go into the images folder from the downloaded files and just replace those files and keep your own images within your images folder. But that's how you take, so that's how you update to the latest jQuery mobile code without having to wait for DreamWeaver to do it, because DreamWeaver will sometimes update their code and automatically do it. So every time you create a new project, it will automatically have it, but it takes them a while to do that from what I've realized. So this is how you do it without having to wait for Adobe to do it.